another quarterback in the news. Tom Brady turned 45 yesterday. And Harry, I'm going over all his over-under props, over-under 35.5 touchdown passes, over-under 45, 20.5 yards passing, most passing yards 8-1, MVP 8-1, most passing touchdowns 5-1 odds. Give out, Harry, your Buffalo Wild Wings spicy player prop pick of the week. Do it right now. Out of those that I mentioned, what do you like?
I do like the over 35.5 touchdowns for Brady. Look, guys, he's been a pro since 2000. Had 50 touchdowns in 2007. At 45 years old now, his birthday was the other day. His two best seasons after that 50 touchdown season were the last two seasons. 83 total touchdowns the last 2 years, 40 and 43. They got free agent Russell Gage from Atlanta, who is very fast, very good, but still hasn't had more than 4 touchdowns in the season with Atlanta. Watch him have like 8 with Brady, and then they're just clicking on all cylinders. Evans is a stud. Godwin resigned. No Gronk, no problem really at tight end with Cameron Brate. Brate's had at least 4 touchdowns in 5 of his last 6 seasons with the Bucs, and Julio Jones might have the best opportunity of his career, a chance to resurrect his career, get some points, get some touchdowns. Brady, over 35.5. He gets it done again. Like I said, last 2 seasons, he's gone 40 and 43.
All right. I now have to rate this according to Buffalo Wild Wings heat scale. And Harry, I am going to give you a Chipotle barbecue mild. I don't like it. I think something's up here. I mean, this is ridiculous. Usually the props suggest that nobody's ever going to get injured. I feel like they're working 4 missed games into this because of all the things you said. 46. What were the touchdowns in his last 2 years?
40 and 43.
40 and 43, and the 40 was in a 16-game schedule as a Buck. He should be well into the 40s, except that everyone's going to bet it. Harry, you're wrong. You're on the wrong side. I'm going under. There you go. Here's the thing. I don't know what you guys are going. I like all the unders. I always like the unders. 45, 20.5 passing yards. He went way over this parlay kid the last 2 years. What are we missing here? Is he going to be handing off to Leonard Fournette just nonstop, or why are these numbers so much lower than his total?
It's again, that doesn't make sense. Again, I'm not the guy who believes in like fishy lines or anything like that. So I'd be willing to take a gamble on the overs here, especially when it comes to the touchdowns and the passing yards. And I'd possibly roll with Brady. As
the
an
older
MVP
he gets there, the better numbers he puts up.
At 8-1, it doesn't, and he never, I'm not trying to put the jinx on the guy. I don't want to see that, but he always seems to be healthy too. He never misses games. So
it's unbelievable. I know.
I think he's going to average close to 300 yards passing a game. And he's going to play 15 games minimum. So you're talking about over 4,500 yards.
I think we figured it out. If he plays
right
all
there.
17, it's only 265 a game. And yeah, like you said, 43-year-old Brady in 16-game season had 4,600 yards passing over that. 44-year-old Brady had 53-16. That's insanity. Why is this number so low, Bri?
Well, I mean, they obviously factor in, right? I mean, I think for all of these players, they probably look at like 90% of their prior year number, 85%, just because they're like, you know what, in a 17-game season, maybe he doesn't have to play week 17. Maybe he also sits another game. Maybe, when it's a 17-game season, a quarterback could miss, if they want a quarterback to stay healthy, you could miss 2 or 3 games, right? And it might not necessarily affect you overall. So I mean, I think that's why you got to cut this down. So if I was looking at this, I would look, instead of playing the over, instead of playing the over yards, maybe I would look at most passing yards, or instead of playing the over touchdowns, maybe I'd look at most passing touchdowns, just because I think there's maybe a little bit more value there. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's how they look at all these. Everybody's number, you're probably like 85% of everybody's prior year number. That's probably how they're somewhat coming up with this.
Where was he in passing yards last year? I'm trying to think. Passing yards, 2021. Let me look. I should have had this. But I mean, 5,316. If you just go by that, he shouldn't be 8-1, should he?
No, definitely not.
I mean, he had the most. He had
the most yards last year.
Right?
So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Justin Herbert had 5. He and Justin Herbert, the only ones over 5,000.
5,300 yards.
Boy, they are really just factoring this age. They're really factoring this age in all these numbers.
But that is, when you factor in for Brady, age is not a factor. I mean, he just
really isn't.
There's nothing. There's not a factor. I mean, yeah, if he was 50, I guess eventually you'd have to start factoring in him. But what's the difference between Brady? His arm is probably just as good. He's probably in just as good a shape as he ever was.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they have lost a lineman or two. Is that a possibility too? They factor in
Jensen being out is big. Definitely.
Well, they lost the kid, the Division III kid from Hobart.
Though, right?
Didn't he retire too, Bri? The one kid who started for them was drafted out of Hobart.
Oh yeah.
I thought he might have retired.
Yeah.
His name is slipping my mind, but I thought he retired in the offseason. So maybe they're factoring a couple of those things in.
Ali Marpet,
to
right?
it. I doubt it. I doubt it, but.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm still going under. I know it's fishy. We're talking wings and we're talking fish here.
Until we see it, though, the Tampa Bay just every week it's 31 points, 34 points, 28 points every single week.
Well, no, you're right. And Parlay Kid said it's not like the last 6 weeks of the year he developed a noodle arm or anything. Like, just keeps it going. It's pretty steady, and that's what we get with Tom Brady. Now he's a criminal. We laid it out on Extra Points. I mean, another freaking scandal. He's gonna have more scandals than rings, right? Deflategate, Spygate. He benefited off of this whole thing, this collusion thing with the Dolphins. He's gonna have 7 or 8 scandals before it's all said and done. So good for you, Tom Brady. They wouldn't let Tony Romo enter that booth with all those scandals. That's for sure.
Too busy doing commercials.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be the next thing. How many Brady commercials are we going to see? www.buffalowildwings.com/fantasy. Book your draft parties in advance. You get half off bar food appetizers. That's great. Oh, and there's like a punishment pack, which includes 6 free blazing wings. You get the, you get the dirtbag who finished last in your league. Go get it. 6 free blazing wings. At the last place bib right there, certificate of underachievement. Right there's a lot. It's a lot of fun. Do we get that?
Do we get a discount?
Should be Kappa consequences, Sal. Kappa
consequences.
You're right.
All right, let's put that in the. Who has the hottest wings in New York? Harry, upstate. Take them right there. Like Pudgy's Pizza has hot wings. Maybe that's
some pretty good hot wings. Yeah.
Maybe that's.
Do we get a discount? Now they're a sponsor. Do we get a discount with them? By the way,
yes, I know that's always important on your agenda to get a discount. We will have a discount, whatever you want.